What would you do if your passenger disappeared into thin air, while your truck was still moving at 65 miles per hour? This actually happened to a truck driver in 2019, and what he discovered next will haunt you forever. You know that feeling when something's just off? That cold prick at the back of your neck that tells you something isn't right? That's exactly what truck driver Michael Chen felt on a foggy October night in 2019, somewhere along a desolate stretch of Route 66 in New Mexico. Michael had been driving trucks for 15 years. He'd seen it all, or so he thought. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened that night. It was around 2 a.m. when his headlights caught a figure on the side of the road. A young woman, maybe mid-20s, wearing a light jacket that seemed way too thin for the cold desert night. She was waving him down frantically. Now, Michael knew the rules. Never pick up hitchhikers. It's Trucking 101. But something about her desperation made him hit the brakes. Maybe it was because he had a daughter around that age. Maybe it was the fact that there was nothing, and I mean nothing, for at least 40 miles in either direction. He rolled down his window. "You okay, miss?" She looked terrified. "Please," she said, her voice shaking. "I need to get to Albuquerque. My sister's in the hospital. Please." Against every instinct screaming at him, Michael unlocked the passenger door. She climbed in, and immediately he noticed how cold it was. Not just cold, freezing. Like someone had opened a walk-in freezer. His breath came out in clouds. "Sorry about the AC," he said, reaching to adjust it. But it wasn't even on. They drove in silence for about 20 minutes. Every time Michael tried to make conversation, she'd give short, quiet answers. Her sister was sick. Car broke down. Been waiting for hours. Then she said something that made his blood run cold. "Do you believe in second chances?" "What do you mean?" Michael asked, glancing over at her. But she wasn't looking at him. She was staring straight ahead, her face completely expressionless. Some people don't get them. Some people don't get to say goodbye. Michael's hands tightened on the steering wheel. The temperature in the cab seemed to drop even further. "Look, we'll be in Albuquerque soon," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "What hospital is your sister at?" No answer. "Miss?" He turned to look at her fully. The passenger seat was empty. Michael slammed on the brakes, his rig screeching to a halt in the middle of the empty highway. He fumbled for the dome light, his heart hammering against his ribcage. The seat was completely empty. The door was still locked from the inside. But here's where it gets even stranger. When Michael finally caught his breath and pulled over properly, he noticed something on the seat where she'd been sitting. A hospital bracelet. He picked it up with shaking hands and held it under the light. The name read, Sarah Mitchell. The date, October 15, 2003. Exactly 16 years ago to that very night. Michael later learned that a young woman named Sarah Mitchell had died in a car accident on that exact stretch of Route 66 in 2003. She'd been trying to get to Albuquerque to see her dying sister in the hospital. She never made it. Some say she's still trying. Michael quit long-haul trucking 3 months later. He still has that hospital bracelet. He won't talk about that night in detail with anyone except his wife, and even then, only when he absolutely has to. Because sometimes the roads we travel hold more than just memories. Sometimes they hold the ones who never finished their journey. So what do you think really happened that night? Was it exhaustion playing tricks on Michael's mind, or did he actually encounter something beyond our understanding? Let me know your theory in the comments below. If this story gave you chills, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more unexplained mysteries every single week. I've got some seriously disturbing cases lined up that you won't want to miss. And if you've ever experienced something paranormal on the road, or know someone who has, share your story in the comments. Who knows, it might end up being the next video on this channel. Until next time, stay safe out there, and maybe think twice before picking up that hitchhiker.